What steps have you taken to cultivate your passion for rock climbing?
I've maybe made a little bit of retrograde progress in that, but I'm working on it. I recently moved from Oregon, which is a fantastic world-class area to live for climbing, to DC. So this is actually the first time in my life where I've put a little bit more precedence in my career. I've always sort of lived places because I wanted to live there for personal reasons. And so it's been a struggle. I've had to really focus on climbing is something I'm very passionate about. It's definitely what keeps me sane and helps keep me focused. And I really think helps me do better at my job because I get everything out that I need to. And so I've really had to work my life around being still focused on this particular passion of mine. One of the things that I've done is I'm climbing at a particular level where I feel like I'm finally at the limit of my natural ability. So I'm climbing, there's different grades in climbing, and I'm climbing at a hard 11 range, and I'm trying to get to the 12s. And I've climbed 2 or 3 12s, and they have not been pretty. I've taken a lot of falls. So I'm trying to get to the point where I can climb them cleanly. And you watch some of these climbers who climb these hard routes, and you look at it and you first say, that's impossible. And then you watch someone who's so good that they make it look easy. And all of a sudden you're like, oh, I want to get on that next. So I finally, for the first time in my life, I've dedicated time to sports-specific training where, I go to the gym, and instead of just climbing whatever route I do, I actually have a training plan. I try and find partners who want to train specifically for sports-specific things. I'm actually doing weighted pull-ups, working on my one-arm pull-up. I'm doing a lot of campusing and doing a lot of hard bouldering. And one of the things that I'm doing is I'm challenging myself to become more well-rounded. So before, as a climber, I would seek out the routes that I knew I could do because I would enjoy them. They were my style. They're built for people who are shorter with tiny hands, tiny little features that I could crimp on and just very delicately climb. And now, to grow as a climber and to have a lot more different routes open up, I have to start working on the things that I'm horrible at, like big overhung moves. I was traditionally a very, very static climber, and I would like to make one move, think about it for a while, think, where's my next move, make the next move, think about it. And it was a real downcoming that I was not that dynamic. And now just last weekend, I was out at this place called Franklin Gorge, and I was climbing, and there's this one move where you're coming over a roof and you need to just jump for it. And I went and I would have never done something like this before. I fell about 3 times, and I jumped for it, and I'm just dangling with one arm, no feet, and this is something, and you're sort of going back over this roof, so you're jumping backwards in this, and once you're jumping, you can't change your trajectory. So you have to really aim for it and aim for the right spot. And it's 3 feet above you, so you don't actually know what you're going for. Like, it could look good from below, but then when you hit it, it's horrible. And so these are the types of things that I'm challenging myself to work on routes that I hate. And I know routes where I know I'm going to fail and I know I'm going to fall, but being able to get on those routes and say it's okay to fail, it's okay to fall because I'll become better. And so that particular route I fell about 4 times, and eventually I got to that move and I stuck it, and I brought my feet up and I clipped it, and I was like, thank God that's over.
What has rock climbing taught you about learning from failure and doing so safely?
I think one of the things is it's a real trust game. So learning to make that big move, I look down at my belayer and I think, can I trust this person? And that's something that permeates your entire life. It's like you can't go through life just, sitting in your mud hut and not talking to someone. Eventually you need to come out and have some relationships with people. And so you always have to have this back and forth where you learn what people are like. You have to learn to trust them. You can't go around your entire life being suspicious of people. You have to open up to people and let them into your lives. And so a lot of climbing is, what's my comfort level? Do I trust this person? Do I go for that big move because I know they're going to be there and they're going to catch me? I'm going to fall 6 feet and stop. Or do I think I'm going to fall 6 feet and keep going another 6, and that would be horrible. So, climbing has taught me a lot about trusting people and trusting that someone's going to be there to help you. Even if you do fall, they're going to be there to help you as your partner, to pick you up and to say, like, it's okay, let's get back on that route and try again. And it's also really helped me, learn that you can't just do what you feel comfortable with. Like, I guess I could run out the rest of my climbing career just climbing routes that I know are fun for me, but there's something about the challenge of trying something that's going to be horrible for me, or it's going to be very difficult and challenging for me. And so, professionally, I've tried to challenge myself to have a different career path every once in a while, to try new and different things. And the learning curve can be steep, but a lot of times it makes for a much more diverse and rich experience when you try a lot of different things instead of saying, well, I picked this one path and I'm just going to stick with it forever.